In other news, Warner Robins has seen a spike in drug overdoses in the past month. That's according to the Warner Robins Police Department. That trend lines up with CDC data that says more than 87,000 drug overdose deaths were reported in the 12-month period that ended last September. They say it is the highest number of overdose deaths ever recorded in a year. Sarah Hammond joins us live in Warner Robins to tell us what some people feel is behind that sharp increase and also to talk about resources that are available.
Yeah, Warner Robins police responded to 18 overdose calls last month. That is more than 3 times higher than their monthly average of around 5. And Chief John Wagner says it's time to break the cycle. Warner Robins Police Chief John Wagner says most of those 18 overdose calls involved opioids.
Whether it's fentanyl, codeine, something along those lines. We do realize that we are seeing some people over and over.
And the spike in overdoses is not just a Warner Robins problem.
We have definitely noticed an increase in the, I would say, frequency as well as severity of both mental health as well as substance use.
That's Dr. Jacob Hanna, a psychiatry resident at Coliseum Medical Centers. Both he and Kyle James, a national certified addiction counselor, say the pandemic had a lot to do with that jump.
You know, there's not as many consequences that usually people would get when they're drinking and using, and specifically because they're not going to work. They're not around their family, they're isolated. It's a perfect recipe to continue to really enhance the addiction that they already have.
Hannah says irritability, disappearing for long periods of time, or going through a prescription faster than normal can all be signs of drug use. But James says with the pandemic, some of those signs have changed.
You're not going to see any behavior because everybody, you know, has been isolated. And so you're really going to have to step outside that scope and say, are they answering their phone? You know, am I hearing that they talk to their brother and sister?
Wagner says if you're with someone who is overdosing, don't be afraid to call 911.
You don't want somebody's death on your hand.
He says Georgia's Good Samaritan law will protect you in most cases if you're there or also using drugs.
Yes, they can call 911. The Good Samaritan law would cover them to where, you know, they have definitely gotten help for the other person.
Wagner says those 18 overdose calls mainly involved men ages 18 to 30. Live in Warner Robins, Sarah Hammond, 13 WMAZ News.
Thanks so much, Sarah. According to the CDC's preliminary data, Georgia's number of drug overdose deaths have increased almost 26% from September of 2019 to September of 2020.